I have a question first for Javed Akhtar and the same for Armaan Malik. This, sir, is the age of artificial intelligence where machines do the thinking. And one of the things with ChatGPT, for example, is that a lot of content creation, music, lyrics are now being written by AI. If you were planning your career now, how would it be different from the way it was when you started many decades ago? And how do you think this impacts the creativity of someone like an Armaan Malik, who's waiting for his best years to explode in front of him and now has to deal with the challenge of not just competing with people his age, but having to compete with machines that can create music? And Armaan, to you, how do you think you will continue to be one step ahead of the machine? Because so much of the music now is either being written or improved through artificial intelligence. And I think this is just such a fabulous stage because we've got two very different perspectives, two supremely talented artists. And I'm very curious to know how you think artificial intelligence impacts creativity, music, and how are you trying to deal with this? We'll start with Javed Akhtar.
Sir. At the very beginning, I must say that if there is a choice between artificial intelligence and human stupidity, natural stupidity, I prefer artificial intelligence. But having said this, artificial intelligence is still in its nascent stage. I mean, it is walking on its knees at the moment. All four. This is the beginning. It's a very humble beginning. One cannot imagine, perhaps you and me can't imagine what will happen after 10 years or maybe after 5 years. But at the moment, artificial intelligence is no threat to creative people. It is a good secretary. It can correct your letters. It can write letters for you to the municipal corporation if you are complaining about the lack of water and so, electricity, blah, 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 blah. Or you are writing any official letter. But as far as the creativity is concerned, I am not saying it will never happen, because never say never. It can happen, it will, I'm sure. But thankfully I have escaped from that. In creativity, they have yet to wait for at least decades to match human mind. Artificial intelligence, the problem is that it did not have a traumatic childhood. Artificial intelligence mother didn't die when he was very young. Artificial intelligence girlfriend did not drop him for some better boy. Artificial intelligence doesn't have a subconscious. Artificial intelligence is not deeply hurt and doesn't have some failed affairs. Artificial intelligence will have to wait to come somewhere near us.
Thank you, Javed Saab. Thank you so much.
Because they depend on data. Now, data is logical, but creativity is not totally logical. It happens somewhere between the mind and the subconscious and the conscious. Let me finish it off. Okay. Let me give you an example. If you are playing a Shakespearean character, and you are told by the director that you are the Prince of Denmark and you are very confused. The problem is that you can't take a decision. And you are saying to be or not to be, that is the question. And as you say, that is the question, you have to read this chalk mark, take that light. So man stands here, and actor convinces himself that I am the Prince of Denmark and I just can't take decisions. But at the same time, he knows the chalk mark and he sees the light. Now, this needs complete awareness. If you believe that you are Prince of Denmark, how do you remember this chalk mark? And if you remember the chalk mark, how do you think that you are Prince of Denmark? This paradox creates art. Artificial intelligence has yet to reach this paradox.
Please, round of applause for Javed sir. Armaan, now your turn.
You think there's anything left for me to say after what he said?
But your take.
I think Javed sir has a very refreshing take on this, because I also have some similar feelings about AI. I think it's a tool. It's something that will help us you know, as musicians over the years, पहले क्या होता था, हम बहुत सारे live instruments use करते थे in our recording. Everyone used to play together in orchestra, a singer, you know, all the, you know, musicians were in one room. Then it became music production started happening on the keyboard and the computer and the laptop. Now even that has gone to the next level where we have to just put in an input and say कि मुझे एक sad song चाहिए, and the AI will probably give you a beat which feels like a sad song or an energetic song. While that is still happening and it's still obviously in its nascent stage, बहुत सारे ऐसे developments होने बाकी हैं जहाँ पे ऐसा लगता है कि हाँ एक human song है या human music है. There's a certain soul, like he said, a certain emotion that only a human with human experiences can bring to the table. That AI is not possible at this point with AI. There's another thing that is problematic at this point. There's no legislation when it comes to the copyright of voices. Like, you know, there are lots of different covers and songs that are there of, whether it's Kishore Da or whether it's any contemporary singers, जिनकी आवाज़ के ऊपर जो उन्होंने गाना गाया नहीं है, उस गाने को उनके आवाज़ में डाल के यू नो पॉपुलराइज करते रील्स पे, विच इज़ गुड बिकॉज आई लव टू सी दैट. आई लव टू सी कि मेरा फेवरेट आज का गाना किशोर दा की आवाज़ में कैसे सुनाई देता, लेकिन इट्स ऑल्सो एन इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ऑफ his vocal tone, his copyright, which I think that's something, that's a layer of legislation that needs to come into play, which will help musicians protect their identity, their voice. That is something that I pray for with regards to AI.
जोरदार तालियां रुकनी नहीं चाहिए. जनरेशन देख रहे हैं, 2 जनरेशन. जावेद साहब के लिए जोरदार तालियां दोस्तों.